All right. So far, we'll see if there's anything else that pops up. Hello, everyone. Back with another trade recap, this time for the Dow Jones. So within this live stream today in the morning, we were looking for possible shorts with the overextension to all-time highs on the NASDAQ and the S&P. Due to Microsoft earnings, you saw a large push and a large inefficiency in the market. It wasn't very efficient, so the market was likely going to retrace back to find fair value. And I chose to specifically short the Dow because it has been pretty weak as of recently, not taking out significant highs and kind of just remaining stagnant. So in this setup here, as I'm explaining during the live session, I talk about placing my limit order on this 3-minute setup here and 5-minute setup. I chose to trade the 5, but both had a very similar setup. Now, this setup here is the SIF, Standard Inversion Framework. If you're unaware what that is, just check out the rest of the channel. There's a video on it. And if you'd like to learn more, then check it out. This setup here, you have 3 entry points. The close of the candle, the 50%, which you can see a price just stabbed into right there, or the opening price above. Because of the Dow, and I specifically was looking for a short, I wanted more of a, not necessarily aggressive short. However, I wanted to make sure that I get a solid entry, and I chose to enter on the close of the candle there. With that being said, I like having a mechanical stop and a mechanical take profit. You can see on the fib retracement there, I have a template where it just tells me where to place my stop and take profit regardless. Usually I go for a 1.67 RR, right around there. That's the ballpark, or a 2R depending on the day, and it gets the job done. Now here on the Dow Jones, you can see how price is wicking that specific entry, and that's exactly what we want to see. We don't want to see body closures within that. You just want to see it wick into it. So you can see it's retracing back into that zone, and I'm simply watching it, analyzing other indices, seeing how those are doing compared to the Dow. And relative to the Dow, we were actually looking at this point and observing that the Nasdaq and the S&P actually ended up being a bit weaker than anticipated, which is good overall because I was in a short for the Dow. But there was a little bit of a strength rotation, meaning that the Dow was actually finding some strength here as the Nasdaq and the S&P were retracing a bit harder. Now, notice how there's still continuous wicks on that zone. That's exactly what I want to see, specifically tailored to that time frame, which is the 5. Here we're looking for a flush as the other indices are pushing down, and I'm looking for a closure beneath a specific candle, which I will mark here in a second. You'll see me use the indicator on the left to mark out this specific opening price. So that's the 1034 opening price. This is a DTT time model. I'm specifically just looking for a closure beneath that. Why? If there's a closure beneath that opening price, it just tells me it wants to go lower. Very simple and effective framework. You can see how it keeps testing that 5-minute SIF up there. And there are continuous wicks, which is a good sign. So there I marked the 1034 opening price. I'm talking about how I want to see a closure beneath that. And there it is. Beautiful closure. So then I talk about how we should see some speed at this point, going towards the 1055 time slot. Here, as price was essentially consolidating for 15 to 20 minutes, I decided to scale one off there just in case the market wanted to be not as clean as it was looking to be. And of course, there goes the last contract. Now, overall, that was the only trade for the day. Really solid work, and it's just repeatable framework that we're looking to repeat on a daily basis and weekly basis. So if you don't see me enter off an SIF entry when it comes to price, I will likely be entering off an MBZ entry, which I've spoken about before. And if you're curious, check out the Twitter. You'll see occasional posts about that as well. I hope this has been insightful and it brought some insight into the trades that I take on a daily basis.